were fangs. There was a very pronounced jaw. The face did not look human. It looked more like, almost like the jaw was way too big. It was something that obviously ate meat. It was not a human-like face. There was a protruding forehead. The brow line was very whatever, and his head was elongated. So this was not a normal human. The fingers were abnormally long. The legs, the torso, everything was huge on this guy. He had these gigantic feet that looked like claws at the end of his feet. He was not a normal person. The eye sockets were large, way too big. He had a full mouth full of teeth. They said, I think they said he was like 44 years old. They estimated that when they got all the testing done. And then when he died, and he was in perfect health when he died, he was murdered. But he was obviously, to have lived back in those days and have perfect teeth, no cavities, nothing. And his bones were dense, much stronger than an average person's bones. Now, something that people need to understand, there are people who will say things like, how is it possible that these beings, skeletons, are still around? How could they still be blah, 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 blah? Well, let me tell you something. If you walk through the forest, right? And one of my colleagues said this, and I was talking to him one day, and he said, have you ever walked through the forest? I said, yeah, lots of times, especially before I saw the dog man. I used to walk through the woods. He goes, did you see many bones? I said, no, you're right. No, not really. He said, yeah, because they decompose, they get chewed up, they get whatever. It's very rare for something to be able to stay and become fossilized or even mummified is even more rare. He's like, it's very rare for this to happen, for something to become fossilized or mummified. There have to be perfect conditions for this. So it's very rare that we find. So when we find bones that are fossilized or mummified, whatever, it is like lightning in a bottle. It does happen because we have billions of years on this planet, right? But for every one bone that you find, there's a million of those that didn't get found. And so this is a very rare thing. But according to what Mark was telling me, he said all over that area, they were unearthing these sarcophaguses. And this was not a rare thing. But the large skeletons were being snatched up.